What are your top 3 goals for the next 6 months and the next 6 years? I guess I'd say, because I know you might be able to kind of have 2 different categories of like the long-term big crazy plans, and then what are things that you're actively working on over the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I want to tell you mine after.
Okay. I would say number 1, building a community in the aesthetics world.
Okay.
So by traveling to other estheticians, going to as many places in person that I can to just meet with other spa owners or, med spas, whatever it looks like. Injectors, because like, honestly, we've done that this past 2 months, and we've just been so inspired, and it's been so fun to connect with others and just get our name out there. So I would say number 1, creating a true community in the aesthetic space and just being known for, spreading that love, positivity, and encouragement and just giving value to people. Number 2 would be
I want to, because I love that idea, and that's one of our goals together. I mean, most of these goals are both of our goals. I don't know why I asked you, like, we don't have the same goals. But with that, I just want to expand a little bit of some things like I'm inspired about as well doing that. I mean, one, if you haven't listened to the 2 podcasts that we've released over the past few weeks with McKenna Olivia Skin, who's in Orlando, Florida, and Skin Solutions by Rachel, who's also out there. Those are 2 amazing estheticians that have built solid followings and really cool brands, and they're just in completely different kind of niches. And yeah, that's what really, I mean, this has been the plan for over a year to be able to do this, and we're finally in a place financially to be able to get out and do it. And we have more coming. We're going back to Sacramento next week to interview Maddie again from Glow On Studios, and we have an amazing couple podcasts with her, and we're only getting better now. So the questions are getting better, the conversation's getting better, and that creates community by people hearing, some of the bigger estheticians and more established talk about their wins and their losses. And that's why to me, that also helps create the community. And so, yeah, that's a big one. And then as far as like even what we're building on Patreon, when we talk about the community that we're building, I mean, having these conversations with estheticians and us learning from them and learning what things that work that are different than ours has also been for me like mind blowing, because I've been teaching people for a long time, like do things the way we did because it worked. And I'm still standing behind everything that we did, but it's also cool to go out and hear another esthetician who has a completely different journey and did things a completely different way. A lot of what I'm realizing also, there's a lot of things that everyone did the same, which is cool to learn as well, to go like, hey, you almost have to do XYZ to make it successful. So yeah, gaining all this knowledge to bring back into the Patreon, and then even building a dream or a goal with our Patreon is to kind of build that community a little bit more robust and create better conversations in the inside. One of my goals there is, I always say my dream with a Patreon is to have a 10-year esthetician and a 1-year esthetician have a place to communicate with each other. That's not like a one-on-one Instagram DM. That's kind of a giant group message that everyone can talk. And there's a few on Instagram already that are great, but I want to perfect that. I want to perfect it where people can learn from each other, make friends, share wins, share losses, so people can continue to learn from each other and not get kind of stuck in your own world. But I just want to add on there as far as like the traveling and the community goes.
I think like number 2 would be, I mean, I hope and I know that people are, getting so much value out of our Patreon, but like I hope that my goal is for people to receive information that we wish that we would have had when we first opened up our business in the Patreon. So as we continue to release more videos, I just really, truly want to create a space where people can, get that value, and that more people can find us, to be honest. So I guess that would be like another goal of mine.
Yeah, because we are even offering it at a price point that we feel is perfect for newer estheticians, but then we have enough value in there that a 10-year esthetician, like we've had 5 10-year estheticians in there or injectors in there that are finding just as much value, because it's just good information. But like you mentioned, we're trying to give every single detail that we wish we had, and we didn't make mistakes and overspend or overwork for things that there was just no readily available info. And it's the reason why we do the podcast, for the same reason. It's why we're having this conversation right now, so people can pick up on these things that we're making mistakes from and learning from.
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess these are just things I'm thinking of, but my third goal is to have a storefront location. So something that we can continuously create more content in. That's our own space that we can still spark that creativity. And, you know, we talk about a lot about investing in yourself, and everything that we've done with Skin by You is just like such a production that's my goal, is to have a storefront location where we can create more experiences, have that like dream place that we love, and that is just our own.
Yeah. And that's been one that we've talked about since we opened. And now we're getting to a place where we're closest financially than we've ever been. Not like close, like next month can open, but are actually in a place where we can actually entertain the idea and start getting numbers on what that would look like, which is just absolutely nuts. I mean, it's, you know, I've a close friend of mine talk about this all the time where, you know, if we look back at 6 months ago or 2 years ago, where we are right now, how proud and how mind blown we would have been. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think looking at where we're at now to go like, oh yeah, storefront location, and this is how much rent is. And that doesn't make your heart sink like it did when we first looked into it. When we first started the business, like, let's get a storefront. And I'm like, $3,500 a month. Like I was like, whoa, like we can barely pay the $1,200 a month. So that is just it's a beautiful place to be in, to have that idea. And I also just have some insane ideas for our storefront that I'm so excited to bring a different spin to the industry that I've never seen before. Especially it's mostly for you. It's not like some like life-changing thing that everyone's going to jump on, but it's going to be something that's going to go, they're going to correlate. Oh yeah, that's Victoria's thing. Yeah. So that makes me really excited too. It's also expensive. You know, big dreams are usually have very expensive price tags, but yeah, I'm also just excited to have a space like that we can walk into and film. I mean, right now we're in the living room, and if we could film this podcast in our storefront location in the evening, would be much more comfortable to not have a giant backdrop and giant lights in our living room.
Yeah. To be honest, guys, I mean, it definitely takes sacrifice to do what you want to do. And like, I mean, our dream, like we wish we could have a warehouse right now. I mean, the kids are sleeping right now. We're filming at 10 o'clock at night. And I just like, I want to remind you guys that there is so much power in like, you can always find a way to do something, guys. You know, like for example, us right now, but like, I would love to have a warehouse, but that's just not in the cards right now. So we're making do of what we can. So like, I guess that would be another goal of mine, to have a space that we can have that flexibility. The kids are still young, obviously, and we can't just leave the kids at home while they're sleeping and go to a warehouse. So just being thankful in the seasons that you are, and just doing the best that you can. Yeah,
for sure. I want to share another a dream of mine as well. That's a little bit more, you know, niche, but I mean, I'd like to get a big boy camera, and I already have a pretty large. And I guess if other people looked at what I have already, they'd go like, "That's already insane." But I mean, with us trying to take everything to a 10 and having this crazy idea for a storefront, like I want like a cinematography, a big camera that can give everything I've ever wanted and more. Essentially be a camera you could shoot commercials with. And that also pushes me out of my comfort zone. I don't fully know how to use all the ins and outs on the backside, just like I didn't know when I first got my camera, and pushing myself out of my comfort zone, learning something new. And I also just like, for us in our brand, and I don't mean this in like a rude way, but like we want to be the best at everything. So, and you all should too. You watching this right now, you should want to be the best esthetician there ever was. If you're not, then why are you doing it? You should want the best results. So for us, we feel like we've pioneered this new style of content on Instagram, and bringing this high quality and this cinematic lighting and this different style, and people are now catching up, and there's content that's looking similar to ours, and people are inspired, and people are doing things that are better than us. And that inspires me to go, how do we get even better? And I know the camera is not everything, but it's just like we talked about in our last podcast, when we got this camera, it changed like our whole mindset, and it gave us a new inspiration, a new creativity. So yeah, that's one of my goals. The new camera that I want is very expensive, and so it's not something that you just buy on a weekend. It's something that's like it's a large investment. So it's something that we want to make sure we're strategic moving in with it. It's the right timing. Our business is ready for it, and we can kind of like take the next step. Maybe 100,000 followers. That'd be a good idea. You guys,
you have no idea. If you think the content is good now, just wait.
Yeah, I sure hope so. Imagine I get in there just like, I can't even tell the difference. But what's crazy is like, to me, if we go back and look, I think I can tell where our content switched from the old camera to this camera. It took a huge jump in quality. The color looked better. The workflow on the back end was way better. But yeah, this new camera, would blow everything out of the water. And I always say this all the time, like nobody would buy the camera that we're going to get. Like it just would be silly for another esthetician, and they wouldn't hire somebody who had this camera. So that's, to us, I know it's kind of silly, but I'm like, let's take it all the way.
Yeah.
You know, now that
And
I think about it, wait, I want to stop you. At 100,000 followers, I mean, we want to hit it by the end of the year. That might be a good time.
Yeah.
And then I have to have 100,000 follower
a big purchase
content
before taxes.
Yeah, before tax season. Yeah, right. December 30. It'll be a Christmas present. But yeah,
that would be another goal of mine. We want to get a new car.
Yeah, that's definitely a big one.
Because we travel a lot. Like our lifestyle, our car is not big enough for what we have right now. And I think that's something that you have to look into too. Like what can make your life easier?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously don't like go bankrupt.
Buy stuff just to buy stuff. Yeah.
But like what in your life can you purchase to make your life easier? I think that's something that I struggled with in the beginning, was not believing in myself fully. I may say that I believed in myself, but I didn't take those, I took a lot of chances, but I was always so like negative and like, well, what if this, what if that? Until I was just like, I believe in myself. I'm going to just do it.
Take the risk.
Let's do it. I mean, it has never steered me wrong because I believe in myself and I know what I could do.
Yeah. And then and the purchases are also things that we know are actually like, they're not just insane.
Yeah.
So for
and
us,
we're all going to make mistakes, of course.
Of course. Yeah. But like the car idea, I mean, we've been driving some janky cars, not janky. I mean, we are very blessed with what we have. But just like tight, it's always been, room's been tight. We have 2 kids now. And now going back to your dream with the community, like we want to be able to drive to more states because we have 2 kids and they come along for the ride with us. So to be able to jump into a bigger car that's newer and comfortable for us and the kids, and be able to take long drives to meet up with other estheticians and create that all comes together. So it's not just like we want a Mercedes Benz because it's nicer.
Definitely.
Right?
But I'm just so thankful for everybody that has supported me throughout our journey. It's been so fun. And I just hope that people can feel the love and the genuine care that we have for people. And my biggest goal definitely is that community. I think that people throw around that word and it's just so much more. And that's what we're trying to create in the space. Yep. So we've just had so much fun. It's only been 2 months that we've been, launching the Patreon and going in person to meet other estheticians and do interviews. And I think people enjoy that. So I just really hope that you guys are enjoying all the videos. Yep. And we just thank you guys so much again for the support. I mean, it just means so much. But is there anything else that you wanted to add to this episode?
If the Patreon sounds interesting to you, the link is down below. So take a look at that. There is actually a free option now with a handful of videos that could really help you and your business out. But if not, the paid version is very robust. We're dropping videos pretty much weekly at this point. We want to just really stack it up and give all the information. There is no stone left unturned over there. There's also a feature where you can reach out and talk to Victoria directly and ask her questions personable. I don't know. Anyways, but if you like, and we just are constantly just dropping more and more videos to get all the information out there that we have, and people so far have absolutely loved it and have learned a lot. We've seen businesses grow. We've seen clients get booked. So yeah, that's where we are. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's episode, and we'll see you next time.
I'm working there.